The ventilation in the classroom, it could make all the difference with COVID-19. 1 week ago, we reported on a study from the University of Minnesota that suggests it'd be best if teachers stood next to air vents to help control the germs in the air. How well those vents work is key, especially in older school buildings like in Boston. Tonight, Boston 25 News reporter Drew Caritas spoke with an expert about ventilation concerns.
The vice president of the Boston Teachers Union tells us only 32 of the district's 125 schools have HVAC systems and that the windows in many of the school buildings don't fully open. Conditions, he says, are clearly not up to par for welcoming students back to school.
Better to have a delayed opening than a disastrous opening.
It's a factor that parents and teachers in Boston say cannot be ignored as the district entertains the possibility of welcoming some students back to school part-time in September.
Too many of our buildings are old, inadequate, and they've been poorly maintained in some cases for only a century. We're paying the price right now when we see that we really can't safely reopen our schools in the middle of a global pandemic.
Eric Berg with the Boston Teachers Union says ventilation in the majority of the district's 125 schools is not a simple fix.
Only 32 of our 125 schools even have HVAC systems, and open the windows is not an answer when some windows don't open at all and many others only open a few inches.
The Boston Teachers Union is calling for verification of adequate ventilation at every school before setting any timeline on in-person learning.
The risk is that is as simple as other kids getting sick at a higher rate.
Indoor air quality expert Serene Al-Momen says poor ventilation exponentially increases the risk of spreading the virus, since the primary mode of COVID-19 transmission is airborne.
Ventilation HVAC systems are the most effective way to remove the virus if it exists in the space.
She says the schools that do have HVAC systems should be using quality air filters to reduce the risk, and says it's crucial to keep the windows open whenever possible to bring in outdoor air, something Berg says is not universally possible in Boston schools.
To fix it citywide and open all schools on September 10th, I think it's not safe, and we wouldn't recommend it.
That expert you just heard from also recommends portable air purification units for every classroom. The state has not set school air standards for this pandemic. Right now, it's up for each district to make their own determination. In Boston, Drew Caritas, Boston 25 News.